What's going on, family? You are now tuned in to the All In Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Jenkins, and today we have quite a topic on our hands. We're going to be talking about responsibility. Responsibility. Now, this is something that many men know well, right? But not all men. And I think even more so for this generation, the younger men coming up in this generation, technology and different factors, but also the lack of male role models and dads in the house have gotten young men to the place of lax, being lazy, or not having a strong work ethic, or even just really being responsible at all, like period, right? And there are some men that don't want to really do the work that's necessary in their life, or put their hands to the plow where it's necessary in any area of their life, right? And so I remember I started a series. I think it was called Alpha Talk. That's when the whole alpha male thing was like big, and it wasn't necessarily like this seen as like toxic, right? Which is pretty toxic, most of the alpha men that talk, whatever, right? But I gave a story. I'm getting my beard all over the place. I gave a story in one of those talks, and I was talking about how one day when I was at work and my boss called me to the office really quick. I was getting my truck together, getting ready for work, and we need hand trucks, right? So we could get the boxes off of our truck. And, it was depending on a hand truck was something that you needed because if you had a lot of stops, if you had a long day, then you were going to really need that hand truck, right? And so there were moments when hand trucks were hard to get because either people would lose them or people would keep them in their trucks. And then so that led to people stealing them and different things like that. But long story short, I needed my hand truck. So I made sure I got a hand truck, but I didn't get to put it on my truck. But my boss called me to the office. The boss called me to the office, me and some other guys, and we talked and we was leaving. And then I went into the truck. I drove off and left. And by the time I got to a stop where I needed my hand truck, or maybe at the beginning, I don't remember, I realized that I did not have my hand truck. And I was upset. And I was so pissed. I was like, man, if my boss did not call me into the office, I wouldn't have forgotten my hand truck. Man, this is all his fault. Like, why he calling me into the office? Like, why he ain't wait to do that earlier? And I had to sit with myself and I said, you know what? It is what it is. I don't have a hand truck. But that's not his fault. That's my fault. I am the one who forgot the hand truck. Yeah, my boss calling me. Maybe I forgot about it or it slipped my mind because of that. That's valid. That's true. But I left the hand truck. I forgot about the hand truck. My mind was going and focused everywhere else. Right? So it's valid that, yes, that probably distracted me from my focus, but still, I forgot it. I left it. I didn't remember. I probably should have just said, let me put this on my truck before I forget. But I had to take responsibility because when I was in that truck, me being mad at my boss was not going to change anything. Even me being mad at me was not going to change anything. But me being frustrated with myself changed the fact that I seen it from a different perspective, that it was my responsibility. Whether I left it, whether I forgot it, whether I took it, it was all upon me. And this is a mindset that we should have, right? A mindset that is responsible, that takes responsibility. You as a man have to take you as a man have to take responsibility for yourself as a person, mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, every area of your life. Now, you might mess up. Of course, you're not going to be perfect, but it's very important that you are responsible, right? There's a verse in the Bible, there's a scripture in Corinthians. It's 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 11. When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. You're going to get to a certain point in your life when you become a man and walk into manhood and leave boyhood, and you have to put away childish thinking, childish acting, childish living, and you have to become a man, because you cannot be a boy forever. You cannot do the things of a boy forever. You cannot live the way a boy lives forever. It is going to come a time in your life when it is time for you to be responsible. And the best thing for you to do as a young boy, if you're 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, if you don't have a man in the house, begin to start holding yourself responsible for what you do and don't do. And this is not to say beat yourself up or wear this heavy weight of, man, I'm just so irresponsible. Those are going to happen. You're at it when you're young, you're at an age where your irresponsibility is accepted because you're still a child. You have not become a man yet, right? So we kind of look over that, brush over. It's not a big deal, but you still want to begin to develop habits that are responsible habits of a responsible man. And I get it, fellas. For the older men, life is hard right now. Life is just hard in general. Like that's just how life is. Life happens to us all. And there are certain responsibilities that a lot of us are carrying, especially if you are probably a husband and you have kids in a family. That is responsibility, to lead your family, to raise up your family well, to treat your wife well, to treat your kids well. However bills and all of those things go, right? Because I know a lot of men are still traditional where they want to take care of most of the bills. But that's between you and your household, you and your wife. But you should be a responsible man that leads your family, right? That makes good, wise decisions. This is why we have the Bible. The Bible will give you knowledge and wisdom that you can take in, so that you'll have understanding, and so that you will grow in discernment and be a more responsible and disciplined man. Read Proverbs. That is something that teaches a lot of discipline and wisdom and things like that. But that is very important. And so a lot of times men, or especially young men, see responsibility as a burden, right? But it's sort of a badge of honor, right? And I don't mean in a way where you just carry everything and you're perfect, but it's showing that now as a man, I am able to carry things and be responsible. And like the Bible says, I can be a good steward over whatever is in my possession, whatever is in my hand. I can be a good steward, that when I have something, that it can come back in one piece, or I can multiply or do better with it, or be responsible so that this thing is safe, or this thing or this person matures, or that my family is not put in danger, that I'm not harming my family, that I'm living a good life, right? If you're a boss, a business owner, or something like that, being a good steward, being responsible is something very important that you want to, forgive me, I feel a little tired right now. I don't know what's going on, but obviously if I'm tired, then I'm tired. That's what's going on. But if you have a business or you're CEO, these people, they are responsible, and they have to be disciplined and focus on their responsibilities. A lot of men want to be responsible for a family, or responsible for a business, or responsible for mentoring, or responsible for teaching people. And we often want to jump straight to, give me 20 of this, give me 50 people, give me 100 people, or give me 50,000, 75,000. But how do you steward well what you have already? You want to build a community of men, 150. You just started. You're not ready. How do you responsibly take care of the 5 men that you have? You build the agency for women or kids or whatever. How do you deal well with just the beginning of what you have, the starting of what you have? How well are you responsible for that? And the more people see that you are responsible, the more people will count on you. I'm not talking about just carrying anybody's weight. They'll know that you are reliable. They know that you are not somebody that's going to be pointing the fingers, pointing a finger about all your failures and all the things that you went through, and this is messed up and that's messed up, and trying to make everybody take responsibility for what's going on with you. Nobody wants to be around a person like that, right? Could you imagine being in a sinking boat and you are trying to fix up one side and your person is supposed to be fixing up the other side, and you fix your side, but the boat starts sinking and it's too late and you drown, and the person that should have been patching up their hole says, see, man, see, if you would have finished with your side, you could come to help me with my side. And it's like, that side was your responsibility. This side was my responsibility. But you didn't take it as seriously as I did. I don't know if that was the best analogy, but that's the first thing that came to mind, right? Because that's like an emergency. But taking responsibility is a very important thing. So, like I already talked about, responsibility is like a rites of passage. Like, as you become a man, you take on responsibility for yourself, the things you steward over, whether it's a business, whether it's your life, right? All the things in your life, it is now your turn. It is now your time to take responsibility over those things, right? Another thing that I pointed out, you realize that life is not fair, but you move forward. Whether you have to take accountability or responsibility for something. Wow, perfect timing. Whether you have to take accountability for something or be responsible, you realize like, yo, life is not going to always go the way that I want it to go. Things are not going to always go the way I want it to go. So I have to move forward knowing that I can work towards something better, or that life happens. So now I need to be even more prepared in any situation. So we want to be a man that steps up and rises to the occasion and rises to the challenge, because that builds resilience, that builds a confidence in you, that builds a strength in you. And you feel better when you know you can be more responsible. When you begin to pay your own bills and take care of your own business and be more responsible for your own health, be responsible for your own emotions and your mind and your life. One of the greatest feelings I ever had was going into manhood, being able to make more money and being more responsible for myself, right? It wasn't the fact that I don't got to depend on nobody no more. It was just that I believe everybody wants to just know that they're able to take care of themselves. That's just satisfaction. Most men, before they bring on a family or bring on a future girlfriend or wife, they want to know, I have enough where I can just take care of myself. Now, most of us men go into the deep end and want everything to be perfect, and that's different. But I think the major thing is just we want to know we can take care of what we need to take care of. I don't got to call somebody for my health insurance. I don't got to call nobody to pay this bill. I don't got to call anybody to help me out with this thing. I can do it myself. I can get it done myself. When you learn different things, you can be more responsible for more. Like I used to be an apprentice electrician. Not that it's a big deal to have to call somebody, but if it's something that needs to be done, I could fix it. I can be responsible for it. Sometimes I might need an electrician to come and help me fix something that's more serious that I'm probably hands off with, but I can be more responsible because I am now learning different things in different areas of my life, right? Now, is everything your responsibility? That's up for you to look at and see, because there's some men out there that are not stepping up to their responsibilities and not taking care of themselves. You're living off of your mother or your father, right? But I know a lot of men live with mothers, right? If you it doesn't matter who you live with, your mother, your friend, your cousin, but usually it's a little different when you're with a mother. If you don't have a mother that pushes you or like is trying to get you to get a job and get on your own or be responsible for yourself. A lot of men tend to live the life of living off of their mother, living in a house. They don't have any goals. They're not aspiring towards anything. They don't have anything they're working toward. They lay on the couch, they eat, or go outside and be on a block and turn it up and all of that type of stuff. It is time for you to step up and become a responsible man and be able to take care of yourself. Now, we're in some times where you might be living with somebody else and you getting yourself together. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about somebody actively seeking a job or trying to get their stuff together. I'm not talking about trying to get your stuff together. I'm talking to the person right now that has decided already in their mind that they're not going to go after anything. They're not going to have any goals. They don't have any plans to change their situation. Or even the people who just have a mind to be lazy or not do much or not grow, right? I had another thought, but it left my mind. That's neither here or there, right? So I feel like I already jumped over my notes as I talk anyway, but we talked about it creates that inner strength and stability, right? When you own your actions, it builds self-respect, right? The more you stick to something, the more you have stick-to-itiveness, you realize like, yo, like I'm really doing this right now. Like, okay, like it builds that confidence. It builds that like we said, that inner stability, knowing that I can count on myself to get the job done. Like, wow, I am capable of doing great things. I'm capable of doing big things. I'm capable of sticking to something and not falling to the wayside and just giving up. That's a good feeling. That's a very good feeling, because I know a lot of men feel very incompetent. Like you don't know much, you haven't learned much, nobody has taught you anything, and life is difficult, and you kind of feel bad for yourself because it's like, man, where am I going to learn this? But you have to be willing to do the work. YouTube University, baby. This is going to be on YouTube. There's other podcasts on YouTube. I think that although we don't have so many men, there are a collective of men where you can go and listen to us and it'll help you in each and every area of your life. All of us are different. All of us have something to give. All of us have something to add and help you with. And these are the things that can really help you to become a responsible man. But don't take in toxic advice. That's all I'm going to say. I think a lot of times some people really think toxicity is good because that's how they grew up. But for you men out there that know better, you know that's wrong. I know that's wrong. I know that's not right. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. If you're hearing somebody, they got stuff that's not good, nah, that ain't for me. But there's something that's like, yeah, I could take some, I could do something with this. That's respectable, right? So it builds a lot of self-respect, right? And so responsibility, it disciplines your emotions and your reactions, right? Let's talk about it. The more responsible you are, the more disciplined you are in your emotions in your reactions. Number one, because the more disciplined you are, discipline kicks in when you realize it doesn't matter how I feel. I'm responsible for me, or I'm responsible for this family. Something has to get done and I'm going to do it. It doesn't matter how sad I feel. It doesn't matter how I think or how I perceive the situation. It has to get done. And your reactions, when you know you're responsible for things, you don't live a willy-nilly life. That's why a lot of men have to get on their job, get on your Zoom, get on your purpose, do what you need to do, find a direction. The other day I was doing a live, and one thing that came to me: direction, decision, and single-mindedness. That's what a lot of men lack these days, right? Find a direction you want to go, make a decision, and stick to it, right? So you find a direction, because there's so many ways you could go. You could go up, down, left, right. Decide if you're going to go up, you're going to go up. If I'm going to go right, I'm going to go right. Right? And so stick to your decision. Go right. And stay single-minded. That means stay on track. Because what happens when you say, right, it's cool, but I wonder what up got the offer. I wonder what left got the offer. You backtrack and you don't make the progress you need to when you don't stay on track. So find a direction, make a decision, and be single-minded. And don't overthink it. You won't learn about things until you do them. You won't figure out what you like until you start something. And it's not even always about starting something and just backing out because you don't like it. Sometimes you have to go through the rough patches of something to see if you really like it, if it's for you. Oftentimes we give up because we want the ease to come immediately. We want the enjoyment to come immediately. It might start off like that, or you might get some of that as you go in, but it doesn't always happen like that. And so you have to be disciplined in how you act. So when you find a direction, don't be overthinking, should I go here? Just choose one. Because in any direction you go, you're going to think, how would it have been in the other direction? That's just life. But you have to make a decision or you'll be stagnant and paralyzed, right? Paralyzed as far as like moving, right? Analysis paralysis. So you pick a direction, you make a decision, and you stay single-minded. As much as thoughts come about the other direction, you say, this is the direction I'm staying. At times, one thing will lead you to the next thing. You might be DJing and see somebody with a camera and you like, I've been DJing for 7 years and this dude came in and did his thing and I seen some stuff. I'm like, yo, I want to try that. Now you're a videographer. You're doing a videographer, you videography and somebody for their business. You know, you've been in videography for 3 years. Man, I want to pick this up. So now I do videography and that, right? The one thing can lead you to other things, but you have to start something. You have to start something, right? And this is something that I had to deal with within myself. It builds, like I said, resilience. You begin to take charge with things and you're less fragile, right? One issue I had was I was always overthinking, over procrastinating because I'm like, man, like sometimes I would think like I don't want to fold under pressure or this is going to be hard and I don't want to have to deal with the fact that it's a hard thing and I might not get it right. You grow. The more you take action, the more you force your way through in a good way to do what you need to do. You will grow and you'll be resilient. But the more you run away, the weaker you will be. In order for you to grow a muscle of resilience, you must work that muscle. In order for you to get your weight up, you gotta be in that gym. And not once a week, once a month, once a year. You might get something, but barely. And that's no shade if you're in a gym once a week and you actually have to do that because, you know, it's good for your health or your life or whatever, or what's going on. But let's not get caught into that. I think we get what I'm saying. Let's not get to the point of misunderstanding, right? And so it's funny because I'll be having notes and I already flow over them anyway. It builds trust and respect, right? So like I said, people naturally follow people who are dependable. Some of you are leaders, but you won't find that out yet because you're too afraid to walk forward. I got another story. I remember when I used to be hanging in the streets with my guys, and oftentimes we always would choose different places we want to go. You know, whoever chooses whatever way what we going to do or whatever. And oftentimes some of my guys would be like, Mike, what you want to do? Now, let me be honest. Part of it was because I was one of the drivers, but at times they'd be like, what you want to do, Mike? I'm like, I don't care. We could do whatever. You ever ask for my input? We could do whatever. But the truth be told, I was a leader. And I never noticed how bad it was until one day I was playing a game, right? I was playing this game called Apex Legends on Xbox. And the team would be together and the team would have to make choices. Which way I want to go. I don't care. Whatever way I want to go. It's cool. It don't matter to me. And so oftentimes when I wasn't playing with a team that was that good, in my mind, I'd be like, let's go this way or let's go that way or let's do this. And when we would do bad, I would be so upset. Like, see, this is why we should have went left. Why would he choose that? But on and on, I kept doing that. And sooner but later, I seen, yo, if you know what's a good option, why not rise to the occasion or step up? But I realized that it was connected to trauma, that, you know, oftentimes when I was a kid, my parents became very upset at me easily, like low tolerance. And so when I would do things, I didn't want to be the one that was counted on because especially as a leader, the win, good job, leader. But the fall or the loss, it's on you because you led. It doesn't mean that you're a bad leader unless you just constantly fail. Then you need to reassess. But I realized that I'm actually a good leader and I need to step more up to the plate in certain situations because I have what it takes. I know what's the right thing to do. And although it might not be perfect, sometimes I might lose, but other times, most of the times, things go well. Even with playing basketball, right? I'll play basketball with my guys and you're not going to catch me taking a game-winning shot. I'm just not taking it. I'm not doing it. Because if we lose, I don't want the onus. I don't want that responsibility on me. Y'all going to be mad. I don't want y'all to be mad at me. And I hate it when people was mad at me because my parents used to be mad at me. I'm like, but I didn't know it. And so I remember, I think this was 2023 or the beginning of 2024. Yeah, 2023. I was playing basketball and maybe I have some layups, but that was the first year I ever took game-winning shots, and I made like 3 that year. compared to how much basketball I was playing, that was, pretty good. But I made like 3 or 4 game-winning shots that year. And it felt good. But I was always afraid of taking the last shot because I'm like, they ain't finna be mad at me. But it's a game. It's just a game. But I take winning very seriously. I'm very competitive, right? But it's just a game. It's not that big. It's not that big of a deal. They're going to be mad at you. They're going to get over it. And it's not real life. I'm not in the NBA. I'm not getting paid millions of dollars. It is what it is because everybody going to mess up. Even the best players are going to mess up, right? And I'm an athlete, but my main sport is football, right? And so, in relationships, work, and leadership, reliability is a very powerful thing, right? Because it feels good when you can rely on somebody. When you trust somebody, when you can rely on somebody and they're going to come through, that's one of the greatest feelings ever. Because you don't have to constantly worry or overthink about what's going to happen or if somebody's unreliable. I got somebody who's going to get the job done and they're going to get the job done right. Right? So let's finish up. Avoiding responsibility is a very fast track to weakness. Blame and excuses and victimhood are traps. We talked about victimhood in the last episode. When you avoid responsibility, you hand over some of that power. And the man that refuses to face the mirror, he becomes controlled by his circumstances. Because you forget that your life is in your hands. Your life becomes a sum total of the decisions you make. That's why decisions are very important. So you don't want to just pick a direction and make a decision. You also want to assess the directions and say, these 2 are good, these 4, not so good. Make a decision between which direction is the best for you or the direction you want to try and go along, right? Because oftentimes people blame people or get mad and it's like, bro, it's like, that was your responsibility. You have to take responsibility. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is finna help you up and fix your life together. You have to make those decisions. As hard as they are, you have to make the decision and be responsible, right? So I think I said most of my notes, but I don't want to reiterate too much of already what I said. And so, yeah. Oh, and that one is good. Being responsible isn't about being like this person that all the weight gets put on, or like you got to die for the team, right? It's about being a foundation, being a pillar, being strong, especially when it comes to, elevating others or being in a community or being a leader, right? And everybody's called to responsibility, but everybody's called to a different level of responsibility. Leaders are called to a different responsibility than people who aren't leaders, right? It's just the way it is, right? And you'll see the more you lift things up, the lighter it'll get, right? Now, in life, things get pretty heavy, but just like when you go to the gym, if anybody has ever been to the gym, the more you lift a weight, you start realizing like, man, this is getting light. I got to go up in weight. Now I need more responsibility, right? Or if you had a hard time having hard conversations, the more you have hard conversations, it becomes regular to you. So the conversations that most people avoid, now you want to have those conversations, right? And so those are some important things to keep in mind when it comes to responsibilities. This is the last thing I'm going to talk about. This is big and this is good. No, maybe 2. So from a spiritual mindset, responsibility is connected to your purpose, right? I talked about that. Talked about people owning businesses and creating platforms and doing these things. It comes with responsibility, right? So you are given time and then you have gifts and talents that you are responsible for. And like I always say, when that time is up, how you use that time matters because you have to give an account to God. Like, this is what I have done with what you have given me. This is how I have given you glory with what you have given me. This is how I was responsible. This is how I was a good steward with what you have given me. I haven't done everything perfectly. I missed some steps. I was lazy along the way. I was overthinking along the way, but this is how I use my time, right? And then lastly, society thrives when strong men show up. And that's, y'all, if anybody knows me, and you'll get to know more on the podcast, you'll know families are very important to me. Families make up communities, and communities make up a nation, right? But this is shaped by healthy, responsible men. Healthy, careful, responsible men. Not weak, but careful and responsible men. Let us grow to be responsible men. As in some areas, there are more work to be done for some of us than others, right? Some of us need to work more on our mental. Some of us need to work more on our emotional. Some of us need to work more on finances or how we steward our business or whatever we have, right? And so it's important that we do the work to become responsible men. And I want you to know right now, whether you're laying down, whether you eat, whatever you're doing, even if you're a person who's lazy and you do all of this stuff, right? It's not easy. I don't never want to give the thought that all of this stuff is easy and it don't take no work and you should be able to just do it. It's going to be hard, but you want to make a life for yourself. You want to make a legacy for yourself. And again, y'all know what I'm about. When we talk about legacy, I'm not focusing so much on $1 million and you're so famous. No. What impact do you leave on your family? Do you leave on your friends? Do you leave in your community? And what ways are you impacting your life and the people around you, the people that you're connected to? In what ways are you leaving impact? All right. So the last thing I'm going to leave you guys with, the world doesn't need more men looking for the easy way out. We don't. Because the easy way out will lead to a weak man. And you don't want to be a weak man. I know you don't want to be a weak man. I know you don't. I'm not talking to the brothers that's strong right now. I'm talking to another. Matter of fact, I'm talking to everybody, but especially the man who feels weak or know that he's living a life of a weak man. You don't want to be weak. You want to be strong. But you have to do the work that comes with being strong. You have to do the work that comes with being responsible. And if you've been so irresponsible or not responsible for so long, I know it's going to be like you dumped in a bucket of ice water, like a shell shock. But it's needed, man. If we want to change, we cannot live the life of an easy man. If we want to see change, we have to encourage and work with other brothers so they know that they don't have to live the life of an easy man. So the world doesn't need more men looking for the easy way out. It needs men who are willing to carry the weight because they know that they were built for it. You were built for it. That's the way that God built you. And he didn't build you to break. He didn't build you to give up. He built you to rest, but he didn't build you to give up and just throw in the towel. You mean so much more to your community, to your family, to the people around you. Pick up a responsible life. Stop allowing everybody to clean up after you or having to come in and be the cleanup crew because your life is so messy or the decisions you make such a big mess around you. Take care of yourself. Take care of your family, your wife, your kids. Take care of your mama in certain ways. Take care of your sibling. Like, take care. And I'm not talking about spending money or being so overly obsessed with taking care of that you got to put everybody on your back. But just be responsible for your relationships. Be responsible for how you treat people. Be responsible for how you use resources. Be responsible about connections. Be responsible for your relationship with God. Be responsible about doing the work. You have to be responsible for you. So until next time, I'm your host, Michael Jenkins.